Hi everyone, I'm back at Nelco Comics and I'm going to show you a little of it in case you missed it yesterday.
Woo! Woo! What's up?
Looks like your wallpaper is up. And so, had so much fun yesterday with our real audience and our virtual audience, and I'm looking forward to today's Players Edition. Well, that's what I'm calling it. So viewers, are you ready? It's so nice to see everyone again virtually. You're on Music and Chat with Shueh-li Ong, and it's a good day for me to you in San Antonio, Texas, and in particular, Nelco Comics. Our dear friend Phil Nelson's pride. Enjoy his comic book store, and you're here for part 2 of my album release special. Yesterday, I did a playthrough the album, MissOriented Metaphor, aka MissOM4, aka the concerto, and offered up some anecdotes. Today we feature the players. So drop everything you're doing and stay glued to Oceana Sheen. So before we begin, I'm just going to do a quick check on Dean, who's our guest for today. He should have logged into Skype, but just in case, I'm going to take a quick peek. So bear with me, please. Yes, he is there. Hooray. I always get a mini anxiety attack whenever I'm dealing with guests because they could be joining us from anywhere in the world. And Dean, of course, is in LA, and I am not. I'm in Texas. Alrighty, so we're here because of my album that was launched yesterday. Again, the name is MissOriented Metaphor. I do have a picture of it right here. And I just want to do a quick spiel about MissOriented Metaphor for those of you who may not be familiar with the spiel because you weren't here yesterday or you haven't spoken to me. So here we go. Spiel goes like this. From the get-go, and I'm going to read this from my notes because I did a quick summary so I won't waffle on. So from the get-go, I chose to call the album a concerto, and the album would feature the theremin and synth as soloists, and MissOM4 would have several movements, and I've got pictures for each movement. There are actually album covers for each movement. And each of these would have several sections as well with contrasting tempi, that's tempo in plural, the appearance of motivic repetition and variation, and solo cadenzas. So in many sense of the word, it is a concerto, but the album, of course, is not of classical content. So when I began writing MissOM4, some people have asked me why I chose the musicians that I chose. And in the past I had done pieces where I didn't have other musicians participate. But with MissOM4, I knew I wanted the living and breathing interpretations of real musicians, and you can see the names of some of them right here. Now I'm displaying them. And in my mind, the musical muscle had to come from musicians who were genre malleable, able to effortlessly sight read and navigate time signature changes, stay true to my musical content or intent, and also offer their own twist on my notes. So I decided my super group had to be real super. Extra super. Extra super on the super, please. and it consisted of the inimitable Dean Parks. You all know I'm a fan of Dean Parks, and my friend bassist Brian Mooney of the Mahavishnu Project, and drummer Jack Ciberon and bassist John Tui, both are prog metal band Mile Marker Zero. So, guitarist Dean Parks is admired by many for his work on 6 or more decades worth of records and live concerts, and he first played on my third album, Crossing Paths. I immediately became a fan of his, and I had to plot, and I did plot, his appearance in MissOM4. Dean and I began recording as early as 2022 in the midst of the pandemic, then find spots in his busy schedule to complete the process. Dean recorded via a video conference, and our last session was in March of this year. Dean appears on all tracks on MissOriented Metaphor, but track 1. So without further ado, because you heard, I assume, the entire album yesterday, and if you haven't, it's on my Bandcamp store. Let's see if I can find the web page. So that's the Bandcamp store page. And you can find my other albums there as well. So please do go and take a peek and have a listen. You get to audition each track 3 times before you put some money down. But if you do enjoy what you hear, please put some money down. I would appreciate that support very much. Thank you. So, Dean is on a busy schedule, as I said earlier on, so I shall move forward to the next section, and which is to listen to 2 tracks so that we can talk about it. Again, this is a live stream for the purpose of allowing you as viewers of this live stream to interact with us if you wish to. If you have questions, please put them in the live chat, and I will endeavor to answer them or bring them to the attention of our guests, and they will respond accordingly. Please be polite to me and our guests. No expletives or unpleasantries, because we're here to sprout joy and happiness and music, and that's it. That's what I prefer on music and chat. All right, so let's hear the 2 songs. Let me get to the web page again. Okay, so the 2 tracks I've chosen are Galore, as you can see here, it's track 4, and Miss O Halcyon, which is the final track. And you'll see the Skype box ready for Dean to appear, but he's not going to appear till we play the 2 tracks. So Galore has a Spanish type flavor. The last track is a representation / in a finale form of the material that exists in the other tracks and culled from the other tracks as a concerto would be represented. So let's hear Galore first. was Galore again, the fourth track on my album MissOriented Metaphor. I'm gonna call Dean now. I think it's probably better that we have a chat about Galore before I play the next track. I had initially thought I'd do the 2 tracks and then bring him in. So if Dean is able and willing, let's do that. Here we go. Let's call Dean on Skype.
Hello.
Hi, Dean.
Hello there. Can you see me?
I don't see you. I hear you.
Okay. Let's
I see you now.
Okay.
Hooray. It's
There you go.
I always get really excited when, you know,
When it
Skype
works.
works.
All right.
Okay.
Is this good, or should I tilt it up here like this?
I'm not hearing you very as well as I'd like to. Might have to get you closer to your microphone if you're using a separate mic from your phone or iPad mic somehow.
No, I'm using the iPad. Let me get on with this phone. Might be a microphone or something.
That sounded better already when you gave a little
Okay.
extra breath with your diaphragm support.
Well, yeah, I could do that. I could talk louder, but I just hooked up my iPhone, and so am I synced up? Okay.
Looks good.
Okay.
Thanks, Dean. All right. I know
So
you
I've
have
got
it.
them. I've got them both open. So okay, we're good.
Hooray. It feels like we were just video conferencing not long ago, which was probably true, right? That was March, according to my notes.
Yeah, that's probably right.
And you've been on several tours since, I think, I recall you on the James Taylor tour. How did that
right.
go?
It went great. It was a great fun, and I got to see part of the world I hadn't seen much of, which is Australia, New Zealand, and Manila, and Tokyo. I've been, which every trip is
What's
in
your
a different place.
What's your favorite spot in Australia?
Gosh, I don't know. I liked Perth quite a bit.
Was it the weather or the people or some special
Well,
landmark?
it's hard to say. The weather was excellent the whole trip, really. It was a little cold in Tokyo. We had one night in Tokyo. But Perth, there's white thing, so it's very, so I don't know. Just felt very straightforward. With no BS. It's just a nice place.
You're dropping out a bit, and I'm not sure whether it's just me or the viewing audience as well. So can I do a quick check, please? Sorry.
Okay.
Gary, can you hear Dean clearly, or is it just me? Gary, if you can tell me either in Facebook. Dean is choppy. Yeah, he was choppy here as well. I wonder if whether it was because you're moving around a bit.
I don't know. Let me go directly to my iPhone and turn off the iPad. Maybe it's conflicting or something.
Okay.
I'm going to try ending the call on the iPad and
Okay.
see if I'm still on the iPhone, if it
Okay.
works. I'm not sure what to do. I guess we'll give it 30 seconds. I'll hang up here.
Yeah, Eric, you were thinking it's mic placement. Oh.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you so well now. Let's see, speaker Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, you seem a little sharper. Are you using a phone now?
I'm using a phone now. You're dropping out. Poor connection, it says.
Yeah.
So, let me make sure I'm on the right. So I have a couple of internets. I have a backup internet at home.
Okay.
Let me make sure I'm on the strong one, not the weak one. Hold on a second. Oh, it
Okay.
should be good.
Okay.
So should I hang up and just try again?
Well, we can hear you quite clearly on with this arrangement that you got using your phone on that particular network. Did you want to attempt
Okay.
us seeing your
No,
face?
this. Let's see. Can you see me?
Not right now.
It doesn't get video as an option now for some reason.
Yeah, video's an option.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Yay!
Okay. Let's see. If I do that,
Yeah,
am I
that's good.
sideways or do they turn?
It's always a challenge when we do these live streams, so. But at least you know your technology.
Yeah. Are you seeing and hearing?
Yeah, if you can get a little closer so we get as much of your voice and less of the environment, that would be good.
Okay.
So get as close to your phone as possible. Thanks,
Well, I can just
Dean.
hold it.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
froze for a second.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Can you hold it like that?
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. I'm gonna start asking you a few questions about Galore before you forget what it sounds like.
I just listened to both of them.
Oh,
So,
good. So,
I couldn't hear myself first, the Lord. So I don't know where I am in that thing.
you don't know where you are in that one. Did you say?
And you have frozen, and I can't hear you.
Oh.
See, there you go. You're moved.
Um,
Poor connection. Switch to audio only, it says. What do you think?
Yeah, you might. Well, if that's the suggestion, did you want to try that switching?
I'll try. Let's see here. So, is that a better connection for me?
I don't know why you kind of, you're dropping out here and there. We didn't
Yeah.
have this problem last time.
No.
And it's not me, because I don't think it's me.
Try you calling me again, because
Okay.
I called you on this one.
Okay.
You call me, I'll answer not on the thing. We haven't tried it.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I can hear you clearer too, but might just be for the time being, but we can try with what we've
Okay.
got.
I'm trying to get to preferences. Oh, there we go. Video. So I'll try that. Is that still good?
Yeah, I can see you. More importantly, I should be able to hear you clearly.
Okay. Hello. I'll keep talking for a second. You can tell if there's dropouts or not.
Well,
I'll just talk constantly.
okay.
Talk.
Currently,
How is it?
yeah, it currently sounds good. So let's proceed with the Q&A.
Okay.
And hope for the best. So I'm gonna spout a few Spanish words that I know nothing about. But I read about it under Spanish guitar techniques.
Okay, well.
And they
I
are
don't know
rackeado, apoyando, ligado.
Yeah, like legato, I know. The others, I don't. I don't
Oh,
know by those words.
so that means that you've looked into uh, Spanish music. I don't know how else to express it, but because, this track, as you know, was written with you in mind, because I knew that somehow I found out that you played on Tony Braxton's Spanish guitar, so I thought, ooh, maybe. Maybe you could sprinkle a little of that magic in that style in Calor. So my question, of course, was: did you analyze the playing technique, or did you play by ear or by feel or by appreciation? Oh, let's
Yeah.
say for Calor, and let's say also for Tony Braxton's song. Did you have to study it, or did you just go with the flow?
Yeah, I just played music in that style because I was familiar with the style, which, like in the Tony Braxton thing, it's sort of a style that came through New York studio players like Al Keola, and then in LA, Tommy Tedesco, which is Italian guys playing Spanish guitar is what that was. And so it's like Tommy Tedesco, he played with a pick and not fingers. And that may be true also with the New York guys, I'm not sure. I never saw them play. I did play with Tommy Tedesco. So. But that's the way I did the Break My Heart and that sort of thing. And then the nuances are just something that we hear a lot of that kind of music in passing. In Texas, where I grew up, and in California, that comes up. So that's kind of, I know it to be a little bit different than the flamenco style Spanish guitar, which is more short bursts and a brighter, livelier thing. So I don't know that our style. Ramon Stagnaro played that style as well in LA, and he sometimes used to pick, sometimes used fingers. He was from Colombia, Peru. I think he was from Peru, and so I think everybody comes by it really through music and just tries to make that fluid, almost vocal style work on the next instrument. The vibrato. The vibrato is one where you vibrate on the fret. You don't pull it like a blues guitar player.
Oh.
You vibrato on the fret, so it's a smaller width of a pitch change.
Oh.
But it's more like the action looks like what a violin player does, which they vibrato it closer to the bridge and further like that. In relation to the bridge, and you sort of pretend that you have a fretless instrument and you're vibratoing there. But what that does is pull the string a little and slackens it a little, and that's what makes the pitch part change.
Ah.
But you don't get the grinding sound of going against a fret, and and with the blues thing, you're only vibratoing sharper. It's the main pitch and then sharper. That's in the blues thing, unless you're bent to the note, which you can't really do on a nylon string. You can't really bend further than a half step, and that's not part of the style. Bending, vibratoing from a bend. There's no real bending. It's all on the fret. And but when you do that side by side vibrato, you're pulling it as you go toward the bridge. You're slackening the string so it's lower. As you go from the bridge toward the nut, you're stretching the string so you get that's. Has
anyone who's heard you play Spanish style guitar ever said to you, that's right or that's wrong, or how you should go about making it better? Someone, let's say, with the knowledge.
I had one client that wanted it more Spanish, and he had been listening to a Spanish guitar player named Vicente Amigo.
Oh, okay.
And he explained it to me, because he's a musician as well. And he explained the difference in what I was going for from what I wanted. And I then, by his explanation, focused it into things that I've heard too. So I did come up with some things to make that happen.
When was the Tony Braxton piece the first time you were requested to do something like that, to play in that flavor, or you had done it previously?
No, I had done it all, something that part of the expected toolkit of a studio guitar player. He would come up with his way of playing a romantic, because the thing that was used in movies a lot, simple ones. Melody and some embellishments. So that was kind of a common romantic instrument. It was a typical, I'll put it that way. It was a typical style.
Well, that's an interesting point. I hadn't thought about that. I don't watch romantic movies a lot, but come to think of it, I see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it conjures up romance.
Can't go with the romance.
That's funny. When again about Galore, during our remote session, you suggested laying down both acoustic and electric guitar lines for the bridge. I remember, and because this is about your method of working and at session work, do you typically, is it your working style to make suggestions to the producer?
My suggestions come in the form of, this is the way I'm playing it, and if they don't like it, then they talk about it. If they do like it, then they say, oh, yeah, we love that, and then try another take, or how about this line? Sometimes we collaborate on the actual composition of the improvisation, so it becomes a composition rather than an improvisation. Or we do several tracks, compilation of their own. Or we construct, like in Unbreak My Heart, it was David Foster was the producer, and play maybe the whole solo, and then you say, oh, that was great. Instead of going up there on the second phrase, what if you did, and you would sing the exact thing. And I would say, punch in there, and I do that exact thing, and follow up on it in a way that made it integrated. So we went back and forth like that, kind of leapfrogging a solo together. Melodic, it sounds like it could have been written in a way, but it also sounds in.
Thanks, Dean. Live chat viewers, if you have any questions for Dean about Galore, please put them in where in our live chat, and I hope you're still able to hear him clearly. Please give us some feedback so we know. I only hear what I hear from my speaker. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's a little choppy, but otherwise everything is well understood as far as my ears are concerned. But viewers, again, let us know. And I don't want to keep Dean too long because it's his precious Sunday, so I'm going to move on with the questions. But again, if you have any, please put them in the live chat. So back to Galore, Dean. You can still hear me clearly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the outro, so you know how I like to do my sound design and plonk things around and then affect them and make them even more embellished, and like in my head, I'm very happy. My head is very... So, yeah, and I think you're kind of used to the way I I do things now with my work and with, you know, what's recorded. I go, oh, I hear this in this chunk, and I hear that in this chunk, so I'm going to affect them. So in the outro, with that said, I selected one of your performances and then cut a tail segment, repeated it, and then added stereo delay. So I was going this kind of thing, wank, wank, wank. And I interposed this with another segment, processed through a spectral gate, and then added delay for an even more glorious effect. And they don't amalgamate, but these two different segments tailgate. So one goes first and then one comes in and goes whoof. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I'll play it quickly for those who might not know what I'm talking about. So I'll just pick a quick spot there. I think it's somewhere here. So, what were your thoughts, if you have any, when you first heard what I did to your playing for the outro?
I thought, where am I in there? I can't tell what I did. Or what's what? Sounds like you made a synthesizer. And sounds good, but it'd be good to have an A/B of the raw track and what you did.
I could do that. Yeah, I could do that and then bring it back and chat about it. That's not a bad idea. In my head, I was hearing the end of the story. As you know, I had in mind the story of two dueling swordsmen out for the battle. I don't know what they're battling. Maybe a good idea is to imagine a beautiful woman. They're battling over her, whoever and whatever her name was. And in my mind, I saw them retreat, you know, because one was a little hurt or injured, the other definitely the victor, and I heard them retreat in the song. But I wanted a retreat that was kind of smoke and mirrors in a way. So there was, you know how when you see smoke fumes coming out from the road, there is like a video feedback type of effect.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
The heat.
Yeah.
The heat.
So I believe I had that in mind, and I wanted to sculpt that in sound. So it had a bit of that effect in sound. So you hopefully imagine that was what was happening. There's no real ending. No one knows if they both disappeared completely, whether one went to get the girl or whatever they were fighting over, and whether the other one survived the battle. But it was that kind of and then, with the camera kind of retreating. So yeah, that was the filmmaker and me working on this.
That worked, that effect worked. It was definitely a diffusion.
So if I had to ask you if there was something in Galore that you enjoyed, if you did, or maybe you did not, hopefully you did, which part would you pick out?
Oh, I don't know. Several parts of the song. I had it up here. Oh, it kind of disappeared. Isn't that? I don't know. You sent a link, and I guess it opened, and now it wants me to sign on for get 1 month free. So I'm gonna let it go.
You can go to my Bandcamp store and play it.
That's okay. I'll just.
I'm not sure what's playing now. I'm going to have to mute the whole thing. What I have is I downloaded your files and they're playing, and I can't exactly figure out which player is playing them.
Oh.
Because it came up in two spots because I did it 2 times. So let me look at those here. Open with mute. I'll do that. Sorry for the tech delay.
No, no
Just
worries.
giving you a good view.
Live streams tend to be like this, where all the issues are part of the whole thing.
Here we go. So I'm hopping around here. I don't know if you can hear what I'm listening to.
Okay.
Now, am I in that part, the little triads that are going up and down? I remember, seems like I played something to that,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure
You would
that I
definitely.
played parts.
Yeah, you throughout the whole piece, you did play.
It's like at 2 minutes, that little mid-range triad you've got
Yeah,
going.
I think those mid-range triads are the theremin, the short little bit, right?
Yeah.
The kind of dissonant type area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the theremin. Yeah.
A nice sound in there. That theremin. I don't know. It was fun wandering in those strange multi-chords and trying to find something that would sound like I meant it.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of your abilities and everything else, the quality that you immediately hit when you begin. There's no in between, or let's try and then hope for the best. I never get that from you. You seem to always know what to do. Even if you're doubtful, I don't see it on your face. So.
Yeah, I think your ideas are coherent, and what you ask is plain enough that at least I know how it should go, even if sometimes I don't have the progression figured out. Yeah, I have to simplify it in my mind so that it's an easier format than it sounds. It usually is. You usually find a little territory in there.
How do you do that simplified so that's easier than it sounds?
Maybe
what?
put it in assign yourself only certain notes, because you listen to it a couple of times and realize that these notes fit, and I too second guess that. But I'm not really great at I almost have to be able to play something that I can sing. In other words, I'm never just stabbing at notes. I'm making a melody that fits within the progression. So I have to, if there's a different bass note, maybe I can ignore that bass note and just play with the upper part. that I'm a part of, you know. But plus, when we're doing this, we're doing it in segments, so I can zero in on a certain segment and get comfortable in that environment. And I think we did some of these things. I did several takes and sent you the various takes. And then you could just chop them up and move them around and actually use an answer that was intended in one spot to be in another spot. And we do it soon enough to the beginning of the process. We get a final take that it's every take is still sort of surprising to me when it comes reacting in a spontaneous way.
Speaking of surprising, let's listen to the finale track, Miss O Halcyon, because that one is surprising. It's got so many sections. It's got and everyone knows it's, it tries to mimic the finale movement of a concerto, and the concerto typically has.
Drop out. I didn't hear your.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear your sentence.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I moved away. Yeah, so the finale tries to mimic the final movement of a concerto, which is usually 2, 4, 7 movements in a rondo form. So typically it's A, B, A, C, A, B, A. But for my finale, I changed it up a bit, and mine was F, A, B, A, C, D, E, A. A being the recurring statement that makes that is identifiable as that track, Miss O Halcyon. So when you hear A, you go, oh yeah. So you recognize it when you hear it, because I remember you said to me, when I suggested that we could, if you could harmonize my line in that section A, you already immediately thought of the next, when A repeats again, what kind of...
Sorry, I'm not, the dropouts are
Oh.
or more than the, let's switch to audio only. It's a poor connection.
Oh,
Maybe I'll do. Can you hear me?
yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm switching to audio so I can hear your sentences better. So you'll start that again.
Okay, so all I was trying to say is Miss O Halcyon is the finale track of my concerto, and in typical concerto format, it goes A, B, A, oops, my microphone dropped, A, B, A, C, A, B, A. So there's 7 movements in the last movement of a concerto. Dean, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I heard a Skype noise and I wasn't sure if you fell out of the picture. But my finale track is F, A, B, A, C, D, E, A. So the A motif, which is what identifies my finale track, Miss O Halcyon, in that section that repeats twice, I recall, as you tracked it and you were harmonizing my synth line, you were hearing how you would harmonize the next section already, where you gave something similar but not. And at one point, you heard something similar to me, or more like I was thinking of something similar, and you played, and I thought, whoa, that's magic.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is we tried on that. I remember we spent about 20 minutes, looking for things, and then I found it. What was it, in fifths or?
Well, we shall listen to it now, and
Okay.
that will jog your memory. But while I find it, I will do a quick introduction of it, so the viewers who may not be familiar with it or of your work on it might understand a bit more. So Dean recorded on my 3rd album in 2009, and that's when I became a fan of his, because I always thought, I saw I had there are other musicians out there that I felt were brilliant in their work, but I always looked for something more. Someone who could play a wide range of music, able to read without much problems, and can just jump in and do whatever was requested of this person. And Dean had that uncanny ability, so he could kind of locate the essence of each song for our viewers. If you don't know his style or his ability, he can locate the essence of each song so rapidly that you feel like, even though it's what you original is difficult for other musicians to tackle. And I had this issue with other musicians as I was tracking this album, who said to me they can't seem to grasp it. You know, they're not able to get it at all. And these musicians had years of experience. And I think the quality of Dean's playing that most made a big impact with me was how he was able to use one guitar and do whatever you want. He could come up with any notion or any feel or any expression. I can't even put it in words that he heard in his head. He didn't say, "Stop, I need to get my other guitar," or "Stop, you know, I don't have the right equipment, I can't do it." There was never a stop. So that's why I'm a big fan. But Miss O Halcyon, that's this track we're going to talk about, goes through a few styles. And so I'll play it now. And I want the viewing audience to remember that my finale track is in this structure, F, A, B, A, C, D, E, A. And in section C and D, you hear Dean and me doing, you know, Dean's on guitar and I'm on synths. And then in section E, Dean plays a solo cadenza, and we'll talk about it after. So here is the finale track. halcyon. So, Dean, question time.
Okay.
This track in section C and D, as I mentioned earlier, Dean deals with my synths, and then he plays a solo cadenza in section C. Dean, I don't know if you recall, but I asked you when I said, can you do a little solo bit, and can you be flamboyant, if you recall that?
Yep.
When I asked for you to be flamboyant, you said to me, you asked for it. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
So here's my question: when asked to do a solo, of course, I'm a different client to your usual one, but when asked to do solo, do you think melody or do you think hand exercises for guitar?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of melody drives it, but the connections, you kind of have to have a lot of that under your fingers to take it out of your mind, I think is the way to put it. So you can do a little, a cascade of fifths, and still all the notes are enough. Well, first of all, the environment that you said is tonal, even though it's unpredictable rhythmically. So part of it is just sort of like being in a game of laser tag where you're getting surprises from your opponent, the opponent being the rhythm track. And so part of it is just finding ingenious ways to get from one safe spot to another. And then when you know you're in a territory of safety, you can let go a little bit of all the handy stuff that is right at hand, that you know where it is and you know where you're at for a couple of bars. You're in one key center. So it's the same way if I'm just constructing a solo on a song that I know, a standard or something like that. It's I kind of zoom out enough where I'm the listener also. And if we've taken it in this direction to the point of, I try to, before the point of tedium, take it into another direction that gives that first one context just by being in a different, painting a little different stroke in the next section, right? And you can take it back and forth there and keep it interesting for the listener. It makes a little adventure, an abstract adventure that if you've made it coherent enough, the listener and me, I'm trying to be the listener too, is curious as to what comes next. So I guess part of it is being able to kind of think of an idea and do it, but you have to make the context and the chord environment familiar to yourself before you can do that. Especially on a guitar, it's not note to note so much as you've got little pockets of familiar territory, right? So you kind of throw all those together and try to make it an interesting trip for the listener to be on. And I know you want to climax at a certain point, and so you take that assignment to get there. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does to me. Viewers, if you have any questions about that, please put them in the live chat. But I like the idea of the laser tag, the analogy, because I've noted that there was I think section C. I got you to play a solo for the one where you asked for it, and then I came in before you once the recording was done. And I listened to the way you played laser tag.
It's just a drop.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, there were some dropouts. Maybe just that last 15 seconds. Say that again.
Okay. So the section E with your solo in it, after you recorded, I came in to do mine, and I placed mine ahead of yours because I wanted to lead into your solo. So I listened to your phrasing, and I played I noticed that laser tag without calling it that, because you just put a label on it yesterday. But I heard that, and I kind of moved my phrasing to accommodate that, avoiding the first beat at times. So it's almost like a syncopated entry, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna follow Dean's phrasing. So I appreciate the fact that you tend to pay a lot of attention to melodic elements, even when you jump in with something that seems a little harsh and dissonant, but it always completes its journey in a very melodic way. Do you tend to go that way with solos, or have you ever done solos where it's a million miles per hour and it doesn't make any sense except for someone who loves how fast the person is playing, kind of thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you're saying. And during COVID, I started studying online guitar players,
Oh.
and there's a whole culture of shredding that is amazing, and it's valid. It's like you take all of Stravinsky's woodwind, very fast arpeggios and scales, and they don't necessarily make sense musically either. They're just meant to be a flurry of stuff, and a flurry of stuff is very good to be able to pull that out. And you don't make. I would not make my whole solo that, but to use as a I guess almost a device, like you would call that an orchestration device, if you were, in composition class. But that's not bad to have, but I don't think that way when I'm constructing a solo, and I don't have a lot of that vocabulary. It's one thing to be able to play that fast, but you also have to assemble a vocabulary of tricks that are not necessarily singable music, and because it needs to be playably fluid, and sometimes you design it for the machine you're on rather than for what you would do if you were singing it, which you'd make it melodic, by singing. It's almost by nature melodic. So anyway, long story short, left to my own devices, it'll all be stuff I could sing along with. I could anytime I'm playing, I could have a microphone and be doing what George Vincent did, which he would sing along with his solos, and that's a natural thing for me. That's not something I have to learn, because I'm thinking my technique has evolved around that concept of think of something and play it, meaning it starts melodically. But I can plug in a device, a little ladder of fifths or something like that, and know that if I go up every 3 frets, it's a diminished thing. It doesn't necessarily fit with anything that's being played, but it lands in a spot that justifies the climb, and that's valid. So,
Yeah.
in other words, if I could do more of that if I would just spend a weekend and assemble some devices that play well and drill on those, and then I'd be able to pull those out. So I've had a few more of those pop into my vocabulary from studying these guys. It's fun. It's a fun area. It has a definite emotional effect. But I think more in terms of, like, I was reading a biography of V. Conant, who's a jazz, 50s, 60s jazz artist. And he patterns himself out from Lester Young, who was a tenor player of the 30s and 40s that played very melodically. And his thing is built on melody, and which V. Conant is much preferred to Coltrane, who was doing almost practice room stuff of, stacks of fourths or,
Oh.
Devices that get you all over the horn in an exciting way, but, or not for melody. And he personally hated that. I don't hate that, but I was surprised to find that we hated one of the major figures in jazz at the same time. He was a major figure in jazz. So I think I tend toward melodic, but I have appreciation for what I call the impressionistic, which is the other little sheets of sound.
Sheets of sound,
Approach.
like that. Dean, I'm thinking of doing an album of hardcore punk.
What is it? Say it again. There's a drop.
I said I'm thinking of doing an album of hardcore punk.
Oh, is that right?
Are you up for shredding?
Well, actually, you could probably play the guitar part on that stuff. Just buy a guitar.
I don't have your skill.
And you have to get some calluses. But in a way, that's a more realistic approach toward punk. Is someone who has just grabbed a guitar and been in the garage with their friends and learned the low fifths and just string a bunch of those together. So that is almost what they were trying to prove with punk, I think.
Good
Is that
point.
take it back to the amateur. That's what pop music has done. It's gone in cycles of starts with the amateurs that are big hits, and then it gets more and more sophisticated until people are sick of sophistication, and another amateur approach comes along that's really catchy and fresh because it's different than all the sophistication that happened before, and it just starts that cycle over and over again. So I think that's what punk was. It was, things had gotten pretty slick with, the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac and all the, all the glitzy stuff and all the beautiful 80s chorus stuff, and got very sophisticated and, like a candy store music almost. So that when punk came along, or grunge, it was like, yeah, finally, get back to something that you can hold on to.
Speaking of getting back to something you can hold on to, a lot of people hold on to, especially popular music, 4/4. It's a time signature.
Yeah.
So, my next question is about time signatures.
Okay.
How often do you play with odd time signatures, and did you enjoy my works, the ones in odd numbers, or were you just hoping the session would come and go quickly?
Well, I was relieved when it was done, I'll put it that way. Because I'm not, so, I played woodwinds in high school and college, and I played some pretty tricky, polyrhythmic and polytonal music. So I am already, I wouldn't say comfortable, but familiar with the territory. But I haven't been in a group that only did that, or I haven't sought a group that only did odd time signatures. Because I think in basically in the Western culture, that throws an audience, and it's like throwing your audience off a bus every bar. And I just don't think it's very useful for Western listeners to hear that kind of thing come along. But then, I go to Morocco or any of the countries that have quarter tone type music. And so I did go to Morocco recently, and there was a guy playing that big zither type instrument, and he was in the lobby of a nice hotel, and there were people that were also Moroccans that were guests in the hotel, and he was playing the oddest stuff, and all these people were singing right along with him, and it was not, it wasn't like it was in 5/8. It was there. This was 5/8 bars and 7/8 bars thrown in all over the place, and these people knew it and sang along very comfortably, and it was like big hit folk songs, I suppose, to them, that were designed around not 4/4. 4/4 was not the consideration that was even part of their music. I thought that was fascinating because that just shows that the different cultures, and that happens with the flamenco music and African music. It's just all over the place, and entire groups are playing the melody all together, not confused at all about what they're doing, and not even, if they fall off, if they have to tie their shoe or something, and everybody else is playing along, they jump right in, and it's like it's a part of their musical childhood or something to think in those terms. So how do you come by that polyrhythmic stuff that you do, or is that feel natural to you, or are you trying to be tricky?
Am I trying to what?
Be tricky.
Both.
Are you using it as a device to be startling, or is it comfortable for you?
Yeah, both. I do enjoy odd numbers. 5/4 is very natural to me. I think because I started playing Dave Brubeck's what was it? What's his
Time
name?
Out. Yeah.
One of his pieces that was in 5/4. Was it Blue Rondo a la Turk? No, one of those.
Rondo is in 9/8, and 5/4 is Take 5.
Take 5, that's it. Of course, it's in the name.
Yeah.
So I find 5/4 very natural to me. I really like the way it just dips and comes back up. I don't know how else to explain it. And it's not like I have 3 legs or an extra toe or something that makes me want to count 5, It's just something that swagger really appeals to me, and my body naturally enjoys the 5/4 rhythm, strangely enough.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy your common times and your, compound duples and triples and whatever.
So it's not necessarily comfortable to you, but you get comfortable by constructing it and getting accustomed to it?
Well, 5/4 in particular is very comfortable, but other numbers, if I construct it, and I usually construct by feeling it first, I sense something I want, and then I construct it. Once I feel it, it becomes natural. I don't know how else to put it. It's already in my blood and ready to be manifested in a piece of music. So I already feel 7/4, 9/8 or whatever. Even with the tempo changes as it moves, as it goes from one to next, I'm really feeling it. And I don't know about you, but I start to feel the whole piece as a piece rather than different segments. Once you get to know a piece, it's just, oh, now here is that feel, rather than, oh, now I gotta count 7.
Yeah, no, I know. You fall into it. It's so cool if everybody in the band is comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
If there's one guy that keeps making mistakes with it, who's a fundamental player, then it can't really work.
The interesting part is, and I'll be speaking to the drummer later on, but getting the right drummer on the job was quite crucial, because as you know, I had already tracked all the drum and bass parts, so I had specific requirements, but I didn't realize that finding a drummer to try and navigate all those requirements would also be a tough thing to do.
Yeah, I think I've played a little bit of drums, and I think a good drummer, has assembled a number of habits that he's comfortable bringing in. And if your part is something that he hasn't constructed a habit for, it can be troublesome for him to throw that into his technique and still play as perfectly as the drummer has to play to be satisfying. You know, you think about it, and those drummers have to be really perfect with all their beats.
Yeah.
And they really have to understand that it can't just be plugged in. So yeah, there are certain drummers that feed themselves those odd things in their training so that they are ready for it. But if it's a drummer that's come up playing blues and stuff and has never gone through a period of self-teaching that approach, I can see how that would be hard to. There's a lot of learning all at once for a drummer that's not brought up doing that. Has not set that as a goal for himself to become comfortable in changing time signature.
And I wrote some awkward parts to play as well, as you know.
Yeah.
You don't have to say it that loudly. Or with such conviction. Yeah.
It was satisfying figuring it out.
But I was very grateful that he figured it out. So, you know, again, we'll speak to him later. But I got a couple more questions, and I'll let you go because I know you're probably eating lunch soon, or you're already eating lunch.
I'm already munching on leftover corn chips from yesterday's.
Well, hand some over, will you? I said hand some over.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Can't reach.
So, viewers, again, if you have a quick question, please put it in the live chat. If not, we're winding down for Dean because I've taken more time from him than I said I would. But it's always so much fun talking to Dean. I don't know why. He's an old friend.
Yeah. From Texas.
From Texas, that's right. So, my next question is about working with producers, and then I'll ask you about working with me.
Okay.
So, okay, where's my question gone? It's here somewhere. 1 second. Oh, in all your decades of work, how often do you find yourself in sync with the producer, and how often not? You know, at a recording session.
Well, if you work your first time with the producer,
Yeah.
then it's you don't know how they work it. Some producers like the first take. Other producers like to work it. You know, it'll never be the first take.
Yeah.
And it's nice to figure that out before you deplete all your energy on takes that are never going to, you know, they haven't decided on the arrangement yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a learning experience. I don't think there have been many times, if any times, where it never clicked in. And I think we finally determined what it is that they're asking for from me. And if it's in my capabilities, I, you know, do my version of it. And it seems to work out okay. You have to go in, you know, the new client, a little bit open to learning right at the beginning. You know, you learn how it's going to go, and then you adapt to that.
So in one of our interview live streams, you proclaimed that your favorite genre of music is variety.
Mm-hmm.
And during out of several tracking sessions, you made silly faces.
Well, I didn't know that.
So did you or did you not enjoy my music? And was I a difficult producer to work with, or songwriter or composer?
Well, the music was a little bit difficult, but the process was not, because you made it simple. I mean, I made some requests from you about what kind of chart would make it simple for me to do well, and you did it pretty immediately and got it exactly right. So, and your organization, I mean, your tracks, for the people that don't know, you sent me entire Logic sessions, and I'm a Logic user. So to have all that organization, have all the sections laid out coherently, I was able to start with the music rather than start with, okay, now I have to organize this person's thinking and make my own markers part, and so I can make it, that's the goal, is to make it simple. And it takes some prep to do that, and you did it. And so it was, and all of your ideas, even though they might be unusual and, odd time signatures and all that stuff, they're musical, they're melodic, and immediately comprehensible to me. So it worked out to be very pleasurable, though completely unknown. I would never know when we started exactly what you were going to need, except for the little parts where you put a fake guitar playing what you wanted, and you wrote it out accurately. So I can see all that. That was easy. But anyway, it was a good combination of definite ideas and enhancing the whole environment. And it was very pleasant for me. And the way we did the tracks too for the listeners is that I ran the session from my studio using your pre-existing session, but I did the recording process while we talked about it. So I thought it was a very pleasurable situation, and you were fun to work with too.
Oh, thanks, Dean. That's high praise.
Yeah.
So does that mean you'll do another one?
Why, certainly.
I'm sorry?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
I'll get my punk guitars ready.
Okay, Dean, I don't want to take much more of your lunchtime, but could you turn your video on for a second so we can say goodbye to you?
Okay, here we go. So I see you.
Uh-huh.
You, me, okay. There we are.
You are? I don't see. Oh, there you are.
Okay, there's my corn chip.
Yeah.
Take it.
Thanks, Dean. You're the best. Everyone, please say hi and bye to Dean. Hi because we hadn't seen him for a while, but bye because he's been such a brilliant guest, and here's my usual ending spiel. We have totally and utterly enjoyed having you on the live stream. And I wish you exciting projects ahead, and you always have exciting projects ahead. Please tell us again what you had done in the last few months since 2024 rolled around.
Well, Mike Landau is a regular guitar player for James Taylor. And James Taylor had a tour in Australia that Landau wasn't available for. So they called me to come in. So I spent 5 weeks on the road with the James Taylor band. And he had me also bring my pedal steel. So that was a fun thing for me to do, was to play some pedal steel with him. And regular guitar. Had a great time with a great bunch of people I already knew, so it was like being old friends, and I met a couple of new people. And went at a great time of year to have some great weather in Australia and New Zealand. And we also went to Manila and Tokyo for one night each, and Hawaii for a couple of nights. So it was a great tour. fun to be on the road and then fun to be off the road. Just long enough tour for me. My favorite length.
Weren't you playing at some event recently as well?
Yeah, there was the Henry Mancini's had the 100th anniversary. There's an album being reimagined, a number of his songs, and I was a part of that, and then they donated all of his 20 Grammys to the Grammy Museum.
Wow.
We did a concert as a small group of us, Gordon Goodwin, Nathan East, Carlitos Del Puerto, Greg Field on drums, Randy Wallman on keyboard, and Carly Bicheret on violin. And then we had a small group and did a few of his songs, and that was a great thing to be.
So what's next on the horizon? What's your next big event or project?
You know, I don't have anything big coming up usually. I've got a couple of recording projects with people I haven't worked with, and I do tracks at home sometimes for that kind of thing. And so I've got a few of those things coming up, and usually my future is about a week and a half to 2 weeks ahead, where I find out what I'm going to do. With the James Taylor, it was a little further ahead than that. So, you know, I had a month and a half to get ready for that thing.
Well,
But, so who knows, you know?
Who knows? Well, keep me posted, updated on what you're doing, so I can follow you around the world or wherever you're going.
Okay.
And when I have a new project idea, I'm gonna call you on. No, I'll just send you a message and say, the next project's ready. When are you free?
All right. Well, I'll see you then.
Thanks, Dean. Here's a little heart thing. I should get the gesture. Is it no, not
For
capture.
you.
So everyone, please say bye. Oh, I got a heart from Dean. Please say bye to Dean. Thank you very much again, and
Bye. Thank you.
and I'll just finish off by saying anyone who wants to buy the album, it's only in downloadable form. It's on my Bandcamp store, and you can see the URL up there. And your support means a lot to me. It means I can pay Dean. Dean needs to tell me how much, and get him on another job. I was trying to find an opportunity to put that in. And please subscribe to my channel, please. And I'll be back on at 2:15, where I interview Jake Ciberon and John Tui, drummer and bassist of MissOriented Metaphor. In the meantime, let's wave goodbye to Dean. Bye, Dean.
Bye.
Okay, so it's back to just me. Again, I'm grateful that you're here watching the live stream, and what a cool guy Dean is. You know, I'm a big fan. I'll continue to say I am a big fan. And here, if you're not a big fan of my album yet, you have to be. It's MissOriented Metaphor, and again, you can get it from my Bandcamp store. Okay, I'll catch you guys in about 25 minutes. That'll give me a chance to gulp down some water and maybe grab a few tortilla chips like Dean. Okay, I'll see you soon. Here's the outro. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you back. Bye.